all is well. Love and light, everyone. I'm going to give it a few minutes for you guys to jump on in the live. Just want to give you an update for tomorrow. As soon as you guys jump in, I'll wait for about, I'll say 2 or 3 for you guys to jump in, and then I'll start talking. Only because this is a random live. Yeah. But at the same time, I hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. It's hot here in New York. Been very hot. Yesterday was like 100 degrees. Yeah, for you guys that's in, be sure to hit the like, be sure to hit the like, be sure to hit the like. I appreciate you guys for taking your time out to jump into live. So today, I'm not going to be on here long. I just wanted to kind of make an announcement for tomorrow, because tomorrow I will be doing an interview. Yes, guys, I know I haven't done an interview in a while, but tomorrow I will be doing an interview, and it's going to be about, I'm hoping, husband and wife will join in, but more than likely it'll just be the wife, only because the husband is not, he doesn't like being on camera too much. So, but tomorrow, guys, I'm doing a live about expats living in Paraguay. Yeah. And I always told you guys, once I'm done building, DR is always going to be my hub. DR is always going to be a hub for me. But, I will be looking to invest in other countries, in the future. So I just happened to be scrolling on Facebook yesterday, and I came across this African-American woman's channel, and she's building a house out in Paraguay. So I was looking at, when I looked at the video, I'm like, I was wondering where her house was being built, only because they were using red brick, So I knew it wasn't Dominican Republic. So when I reached out to her, I asked her, I says, where are you building your home? And she said, Paraguay. I'm like, wow, I had no idea. It's an expat community out there. And as you guys know, DR is getting expensive. It is getting expensive, to say the least, especially with all that's going on. You got a lot of expats moving into DR. And even now, with the whole thing that's going on with Puerto Plata, I'm sure you guys have heard. It's been circling all over to YouTube about what's going on in Sosua with the chicas, and they cracking down and all of that. Now, everybody has their own opinion. A lot of you guys have reached out to me and asked me my opinion. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really don't have one, because you guys know me. I've been doing this YouTube stuff for quite some time, and Sosua is really not my territory to vlog in, to talk about, because you got too many YouTubers, content creators talking about Sosua, So I try not to. I stay out of that whole Sosua. I try to refrain from vlogging too much about Sosua, and only kind of content you'll see me talking about Sosua is if I'm advertising properties. So with that being said, hello there, cuz. How are you doing? Yvette, what's going on? It's 10 of you guys on here. Just be sure to hit the like, share, and subscribe. So with that being said, I'll give you my brief opinion on the whole Sosua movement. Do I think change is coming? Yes. I believe a lot of change is definitely coming in Sosua. And, the president is from the North Coast. He has one of the largest hotels over in the North Coast. So yeah, he's bringing he's going to be doing a lot of revamping in Sosua. And if you guys don't know, they had a meeting. They didn't even invite the mayor of Sosua to this meeting. They brought over, I believe over 250 police officers there to kind of clean it up. And the mayor of Sosua wasn't invited. And I'm hearing that, only because there's a lot of corruption going on in Sosua. So this mayor was not invited. And what they're going to be doing is bringing in new cruise ships and all of that stuff to Sosua. And, they're trying to crack down on all of that, the chicas, the prostitution, and exploitation that has been going on. So I think change is coming. To what degree, I'm not sure, but all we can do is sit back and wait and see, and only time will tell. So with that being said, the prices of property and real estate have gone up a lot in Dominican Republic. No matter what part of Dominican Republic you're thinking about investing in, okay? So I've said it previously. A lot of us might need to start looking at other countries as a secondary option, only because a lot of us can't afford to buy properties in Dominican Republic anymore. The good days are over, okay? The good days are over when it comes to that. You should have been trying to capitalize on properties and real estate back in 2016 and before that. So now they're just making it very hard for us to even invest in DR, okay? So now back to the YouTube, the Facebook channel that I came across. So when I came across this African American woman, I saw her construction, and I started inquiring about her construction. I said, well, tell me, how much did it cost you to build this home? Guys, you guys might want to listen into this. She told me that she's building her home, and it's costing her 30,000 USD to build this home in Paraguay. Now, I told her, I said, well, no more DR videos. You left the DR. No, 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 no. I didn't, yoga. I didn't leave the DR. I didn't leave the DR. I'm talking about people possibly making other investments in other countries opposed to Dominican Republic, only because the real estate has gotten crazy. So as I was looking at this woman's construction in Paraguay, I inquired about how much does it cost to build that kind of construction, and she told me it was $30,000. And I'm like, damn, well, the money I spent, I could have built about 2 or 3 homes, for that price. So I'm going to have her on tomorrow at 12 o'clock our time, 1 o'clock their time, and just to kind of shed light on Paraguay and what it has to offer, what is the expat community like, what is the U.S. dollar in comparison to their money, and ask her all the general questions that a person might want to know if they're looking to invest, in a place other than Dominican Republic. Yeah, Paraguay is a little, because when I looked at it on the map, it's next to Chile and all of that, and it is a little far. But when you're looking at properties for 30,000 to build, we're talking, guys, to build. I might consider it. You know what I mean? So, having her on, I think, will be great to broaden other people's horizons. People who are looking to. It's cold, no beach there, bro. Are you sure about that? Are you sure? Have you been to Paraguay, yoga? I'm just curious. I'm sure there's got to be some beaches in some parts of Paraguay. I do know that they do speak Spanish. I know that. That is their language there. She told me the cost of living is yes, the water is cold. Okay. Well, we're gonna have her on to talk about some of the things. She said that it's a great place for families to live. The immigration process, the visa process is fairly easy. Cost of living, great food, land cheap. So these are the kind of things I'm going to be asking her. And pretty much, why did she decide to move there at all places? I'm just curious. I spoke to her this morning just to get a brief intro on her and and all the things that her and her family are doing there. She's into holistics and she's like a naturalist. You know what I mean? So just to get her perspective on the life in Paraguay would be interesting to say the least. No beaches in Paraguay. It's landlocked. Okay. All right. Well, I'm sure there's got to be other cities that do have beaches. I'm sure there's got to be. That's why it's cheap. Okay. Okay. Well, then, you got some. I mean, hey, you never know. What I look at it like this: what might not be for us might be for somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Even if you're looking to make an investment as an Airbnb, or just to buy and to resell, to flip, because as we all know, DR is getting expensive. So why not invest our money somewhere else where especially if we're seeing growth there, if it's growth there, why not invest there? So I just want to have her on the channel to pretty much talk about her experiences, and maybe it might spark some of you guys' interest who are looking to invest. You know what I'm saying? Paraguay is an interior country with cold weather because of mountain elevation. Okay. Okay. But like I said, I would like to have her input and get her perspective on it. Only because, I like to see what Paraguay has to offer. She lives there, her family, her husband, her two kids. So just to get her perspective on it, I think it'll be great to hear. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I decided to have her on tomorrow, and I figured let me come on here and give you guys a heads up, just so that you guys can stay tuned for the upcoming interview tomorrow. So that's pretty much what I got going on for tomorrow. Now, is in terms of Dominican Republic, I'm gonna be heading down, guys, in September. Probably, I was looking at like October, but I think I'm gonna need to get down there faster than expected, only because let me read. Para gays probably gets your rocks off. What the heck, gay preacher? The hell? It says it has beaches along the lakes and rivers. Okay, so Yvette Miller, you've done your research already. Okay, beaches along. Because I'm like, yo, I know they got to have some kind of beaches. Maybe not in the city of Paraguay, but I know there's got to be some bodies of water. There's got to be. No beaches there in cold weather. Real estate is lower cost. It's cold year round in Paraguay. I seen palm trees. I seen palm trees on a lady's property. So there's got to be a decent weather at some point in time. I mean, like I said, I don't really know much about Paraguay, but I figured getting her on, that's one smooth scalp, Unc. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Yeah, I don't really know too much about the country. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I want to have her on, to get her perspective, especially since she's building there, and just talk about the pros and cons of building a home there. From what she's telling me, it's an easy process. They work really hard to build. She did say that they take their time, and I told her, I said, well, I think that's when it comes to when living in, no matter, once you live outside of the United States, the mentality of the people is kind of lackadaisical. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure those of you who are building have encountered that, with your builders and stuff. So that's not surprising. But as I said, just to get her perspective, can't be cold as in New York. Exactly, exactly. You know, and it's got to be cheaper. I'm sure it's definitely cheaper, the cost of living, because a lot of us want to find a better way. a better way opposed to what we are experiencing. You know, the cost of living in New York is only going to get higher. I mean, yeah, cost of living has gone up worldwide, but if we can move to another country and be able to thrive, and most of all, have a quality of life. You know, that's how I feel. At 45, man, it's not about the money. It's not about having materialistic things. It's about having the quality of life that I desire. I think we all should, you know, be able to live in a place where we can thrive and have a quality of life without being enslaved with working, constantly working and working, not able to spend time with your families and do the things that we should be doing. You know what I mean? In terms of extracurricular. Paraguay is like Ohio in the U.S., landlocked and no tropical beaches, ocean access. All right, bro. All right. I think you done said that enough. So what we'll do is we'll take get somebody else's perspective who is living there and building there, and then we'll see. You know, your perspective is different from a person that's actually living there and doing it. So I like to get their perspective on it, and this is why I decided to have her on the channel tomorrow at 12 o'clock our time. And then we can see about the pros and cons of, like I said, it's different. You know, your perspective is different. It's going to be different from hers only because she's living there. She is living there with her family. So it's obvious that, you know, she moved there for a reason. You know, visiting a place versus living there permanently is different. So I'm sure her perspective is going to be different. And I like to, you know, get her take on it and share with you guys. So this is the reason why I'm going to have her on tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So y'all stay tuned for that. Be sure to, I'm going to do a countdown on, hold on for a minute. I'm going to do a countdown hold on. Okay. I just had to remove yoga because he's just you know, negative. There's always got to be somebody that's got to come in with the negativity. You know what I mean? Okay, so what? It doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. You know, give a person an opportunity to experience it for themselves. Come on. Stop talking about all the negative. You know? Stop talking about all the negative. Give a person to experience it for themselves and see if it might be a fit for them. What's not for us, you know, could be for somebody else. And this is why, you know, I want to have this woman on. If she moved there with her family, I'm sure she's moved there for a good reason. And I'm sure she's done her research before she just took that big leap, you know, of faith to go down there, you know. So to keep giving negative input rather than just waiting to see what, you know, what their intake is, I mean, their perspective is on living there as an expat, you know, let us just wait and see. You know what I mean? And as I said, you know, once I'm in Dominican Republic full time, I do plan on making other investments in other countries. No black people's there. I beg to differ. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say yes. She's black, so she lives there. So there are black people there. There's got to be if she's there, you know. So we'll just have to wait and see. And sometimes, in order to make a change, it has to take, you know, us to move to another location and bring other black people so that they can experience the kind of life that they're living there, if that makes sense, you know? So that's what I'm saying. You know, she could possibly, I'm sure there's other black people there, gotta be. She's not the only one. There's black people all over the world. You know, they might not look like us, you know, but there's black people all over the world. So to make a statement like that, I don't think so. I don't think so. You've got indigenous people all over the world, you know. Just because we don't see them, that doesn't mean that they're not there. You know what I mean? So yeah. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to be uploading some new content on the house. So you guys stay tuned for that. That will be in my members only section. And whatever that I do decide to post publicly will more than likely be a short, But I'm gonna be doing the roof in more than likely September. Yeah, I'm heading down to September to do the roof. So you guys stay tuned for the updated content on that. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to come on this live, make a live to update you guys on the interview I got coming up tomorrow at 12 o'clock. So be sure to set your timer so that you don't miss this interview. It's going to be interesting, I think. The ladies seems to be a whole vibe, you know what I mean? And as I said, after interviewing her, it might spark some of you guys' interest to go down there and see what it's about. She gives consultations. She can tour you around and show you different cities and what's accessible, and what's convenient. You know what I mean? So y'all stay tuned for that upcoming interview tomorrow at 12 o'clock. All right. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to close out. It is Saturday. You guys enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Don't forget to hit the like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see y'all tomorrow at 12 o'clock. Don't forget, guys, set your timer just so that you don't miss this interview tomorrow. All right. Until then, y'all be easy out there and y'all stay safe. Peace and love always. And I'll be talking to y'all soon.